YouTube. I'm going back to YouTube, and I gotta delete that live. That the one I just, it's one that started, already started. Here it go right
Okay.
here, and it's reconnecting. So I'm getting ready to delete it.
Okay.
I might have to delete it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mess you up.
No, you good, you good.
I just know.
It's just.
I just know if I get a phone call, it's off. That's why I
Hey,
was like, it might
Gavin.
not be good.
All right, it just came on. I'm getting ready to delete this. I'm getting ready to delete this live, y'all. Go to the live I just put up. It's like this. Don't even want to leave. Hey, Layla. Hey, Gavin. Yeah, thanks for coming over to this one though. I'm gonna delete the other one. So come over to the other live I just made. All right, they coming. Some people coming over now, so I'm gonna wait till some jump in the chat, and then you can
Okay, I'm
start a
trying to.
show. I got an eyewitness for tomorrow too, show.
So yeah, that's good. Is it the red eye? Is that what it looks like? Is that eyeball? The red eye? Eyewitness Encounters?
What? What on my
Is it
channel?
red? Yeah, on your channel, is it red? It's kind
Go
of like
to the
a
other
red
live
eye.
stream. Yeah, Trucker went over there.
Trying.
Go to the other live stream, y'all. Or I just did it. It's just gone. That live stream gone. They coming over to the other one. Thank y'all. Yeah, stay on this one. I got rid of the other one. I'm going to delete it anyway. Delete that upload. All right, I just deleted. All right, thanks y'all for coming over here though. Like I said, we got a good eyewitness. Can we come on? She's gonna introduce herself, let y'all know a little bit about her, and man, she gonna tell y'all a lot, cause she got a lot to talk about, you know. But like I said though, I gotta get permission from her, to post some of the pictures on the page, cause I want y'all to see some of these, cause they are amazing. They are amazing. So I'm gonna let her go ahead and start. So without further, you know what I mean, Shell, floor is yours. You can introduce yourself, let them know where you're from and all that good stuff.
Okay. I am Shell Taoki Dion, from Illinois, central Illinois, towards eastern to Indy.
Shell, I don't know why she ain't called me on Messenger.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You had broke up a little bit,
Okay.
but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it's been storming in the Midwest today, so sorry about that.
Right. Okay.
I've been dealing with Bigfoot since I was just a small child, and I grew up with my brother researching when we were just teenagers. And 2013, I didn't want to believe in Dogman. And I didn't want to believe in any of these other hocus-pocus, but there's been so many creatures and critters that have come onto my table. And Dogman was one of those things that's like, okay, I'm seeing different types, I'm getting different types of photos. I want to know what these things are. I didn't know what kind of can of worms that was opening.
Hold on.
There's so many various different sources.
She in the Midwest and she had a storm, so try to bear with her.
Yeah, I will try to go somewhere there's better signal.
Okay.
Can you hear me clearer now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, but you had
Better?
broke. Yeah, you had broke up again, so. But we can hear you now. Can
Yeah.
y'all hear now? Say something, Dion. Say something, Dion.
Can you hear me?
Can y'all
Can you
hear
hear
her?
me?
Can y'all hear what good? Let me know if you can hear Carlito and Leela.
Can you hear me?
And
That's crazy.
yeah, they can hear you. Yeah, better.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm opening like blinds and stuff to get better signal.
Okay.
Okay. So when I started researching Dogman, I didn't know really what I was getting into. I just wanted to know all I could about what's out there in the field with me when I'm doing my Bigfoot research and how to cope with it and what are its capabilities and all these things, all the questions everybody has. I had them too, but what I didn't expect was to find so many various different species and so many various different sources that they derived from. So, as I've shown you in private, photographs with dogmen and aliens, different types of dog breeds, right from the lion face to, what was that thing you called it, the gugweed?
Yeah, the gugweed. You showed me
I
one of
got
them
pictures of
too.
things I keep my head down and keep working, and I don't realize that the internet's coming up with labels for some of the stuff I get, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I've showed you just about everything that I have found out there, and it's been very interesting. It's been an array of stuff. It's been scary at times. It's been deadly at times. I just keep doing what I do because I feel there's people out there that need to know it, or people out there that understand what's going on, but they want to be able to categorize what they've seen, what they've experienced. And then there's people like myself that's living with this stuff all around them. And the biggest question, I just had somebody send me a message before I got on with you. They were going, how do you cope with the dogmen? How do you cope? What do you do? What is your philosophy on keeping it peaceful? Well, it's a double-edged sword. It really is. I mean, we're set up for it. At night, this place is lit up like it's Vegas. My dogs, we don't go in the backyard. My animals stay in the house unless they are attended. You don't ever leave anything out there that it can get to you with. I mean, they will do mean things. Like, for instance, we've had some baby rabbits be born in the yard. This one window where I tend to sit close with my dog and watch TV, right here, there's the rabbits killed right there at my head. And it's left out there for me to find in the morning. They just do various things reminding you your situation. That you are going to comply and you are going to be good and you're not going to be up in my nose and taking photos for me. And that's why I've got an expensive camera with, nice lenses and stuff, that I can get those photos that people have not been able to get. It's just, you got to be careful about it. You got to, you got to respect them. The bottom line here on all these beings, not just dogman, little creatures, cat people, Sasquatch, gugweed, everything. It's all about respect.
Right. Shell Dion, Al. That's the guest on tonight. Shell Dion. All right, go ahead, Shell.
So, where do you want me to start off here?
I want to start with the beginning and take us on in. Y'all can ask questions after she finish. And post all your questions in, caps. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and keep because I can't read that and talk to. So you can read it to me.
I'll read it. And
okay, so the very first Dogman photo I got had an alien on its shoulder, a silver alien. And the very week that I released my photo of it, Scott Carpenter released his too. And he messaged me and he's like, "Oh, so you're dealing with these things too?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he says, "Be careful." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I've opened a can of worms. I can't put the lid back on." And he says, "Yeah." He says, "And I don't think either one of us will ever be able to do that." And it was just, he's in Tennessee, and I was here in Illinois, and it was just like we were neck and neck just getting the same things and putting together, clues of what hangs with Sasquatch, what does it. And, at some point there, I broke away from the rest of the crowd, like the Bigfoot community and the Dogman, just tons of fans that love Dogman, and just, they would pick my head all day long, every day, if I let them. But I didn't. I stayed in the field. David stayed in the field. We worked and worked and worked and worked. And we started learning the differences. What looks like that? What's a Dogman? What's possibly werewolf? What is a wolf creature? A wolf creature doesn't have legs like a Dogman. It doesn't have a print like a Dogman. It's got more of a human-type print with 3 toes to it. And I've showed you examples of that.
Yes.
So the wolf creature with straight legs, arms, 5 fingers, and a dog head is hanging out with Sasquatch. And everybody's calling it a Dogman. No. Dogmen don't hang out with Sasquatch. And I've showed you pictures of this, where Dogman has been killed, where Sasquatch has been killed.
Yeah, I've seen them.
So that's all involved. Those are involving real. You agree? Those pictures are graphic, and those are mean.
Yeah, they are. They are. I have seen them. They are.
The other side of that coin, when I'm talking about wolf creatures, they try and protect the Sasquatch. They try and be the go-between in all of this. And they don't have tails, okay? You have straight legs, like I said. They're just the Sasquatch body with the dog head on it. And some of them are rather beautiful, especially the females. The females can look entirely different than the black or the black and brown males. You can get a female that looks like a red wolf, and you don't get to see them often. They don't really allow you the female interaction much, but when you do, they're beautiful. They really are. And you just look at it and appreciate it and show it respect, and we just don't hang in their area. We don't, okay, they're there, we see them, we take, log it, take a picture of what we've seen, date it, and then we just move along. We don't just gawk and gander at everything. And with that kind of approach, it's worked for us. I mean, you've seen all the way across the board. It's not just Dogman. We've got everything. But we treat everything the same. Okay, you're in this area. We're going to move out of your area right now. We're sorry. Didn't realize we walked up on you. You just be nice to them. Even if these Dogmen, they do. I've seen a lot of questions in your group where they're asking if they're telepathic. Like Sasquatch can be telepathic. Yes, they can shoot humans a message, an image, a feeling, emotion. They can do all of that at you, just like the other things can. And they can be sarcastic. The wrong approach, and I learned this early on, was don't be sarcastic back. Right. Just say, I'm moving out of your area, thank you, and go. Don't play. Don't argue, because they can be sarcastic and they can be nasty beings. And it's just best to try to avoid those situations. Usually, and everybody's asking me, they call me and they go, okay, I've got Sasquatch, but now I'm picking up these black dogs and the pictures and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's good. If you got that there, you got an extra padding of safety to ward off Dogman. But then again, if you get overrun by a pack of Dogmen, that ain't going to mean anything. So, as a word to the wise out there, because I get this question so much, if you've got Sasquatch, do you have Dogman? Do you have wolf creature? That's your question? Well, here's this. If you've got Sasquatch, you can have anything and everything. I do believe a lot of these things are all connected interdimensionally. Mm-hmm. I do believe some of these Dogmen are natural occurring to the earth. And I know that the government made quite a few of them. And the government have been dropping them down. They really seem to like the Appalachian area to drop these things. So that's not good for humans. That's not good for us. That's not good for people that are outdoors people that like to hike, people that bike.
Right.
You're hearing of very few encounters of people that get killed. Why? Because they're dead. And who finds out that they're dead? Typically the government, and they sweep it under a rug.
Right.
There's a lot going on out there that people have no clue about.
Oh, I know they do.
Hey,
Al, wait a minute, Shell, save your questions to after she finished her encounters and stuff, and put them in all caps.
What's the question?
He wanted, Al wanted to know, how big is these wolf creatures?
Wolf creatures can get really big. They've been referred to as a fathead. They got a big black, presence. The males can get very large. Other ones, they don't. I showed you the females where I was taller than one and was in the picture with me. I was standing in front of me. Remember that picture I showed you?
Yeah, and that's crazy.
Yeah, so the female, and I'm 5'9", and so she was shorter than I was.
Yeah.
So, it varies just like Sasquatch. I've been taller than some female Sasquatches that I've met, and then I've met some that I'm like, okay, I'm not even up to your crotch. So, with that said, you cannot categorize or label these things that in depth, because you have to understand they're all individuals and they all have a gene pool and they all came from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so they're just like humans in that respect. You're going to be different than I am. I'm going to be different than my neighbor, unless we're identical twins. And yes, they do have identical twin-born Sasquatches. That's another question I get. Yes, I have seen whole, litters of pups. And I'm going, okay, are they all related? But I'm only seeing one papa and one mama around. I'm starting to think, okay, so they can have multiple births.
Okay.
So they do have that canine aspect.
Okay. That's a question that was always brought up anyway. How many do they have? People thought like one or two, you know what I mean? But you say they can have a litter, so now we know.
It can just vary. It can just vary.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. Unfortunately, I wish I could give you more details about the birthing and things like that when it comes to Dogman. I don't have that uncovered yet. I have that in Sasquatch. I could give you great details on their gestation and all that kind of stuff, because that was my field of interest.
Right.
And even though it's been, 8-9 years, 10... It's been almost 11 years of Dogman now. I'm no closer to those answers than I was when I was 11 years into, investigating Sasquatch.
Right.
I mean, this stuff takes time. You got to peel it apart like layers of an onion only when you have the opportunity. And, sometimes that opportunity comes months apart. You just have to take it as it comes.
Right.
Back to their feet, we talked about what the wolf creature foot looked like. 3 prints, three toes, 3 digits rather than prints, 3 digits. When you talk Dogman, I've casted prints. David's casted prints. 12 inches wide, 11 inches tall, canine.
Wow.
And literally, you could take my Great Dane's front paw and put it in the back pad of one of those paws, and it's completely surrounded.
Wow.
That's how big. And an interesting story, this is when we learned that they were telepathic. I got up early in the morning one morning, and I called my mom and said, hey, should I go into Hobby Lobby? This is like December. So they really like the winter months, and they really hit this area hard when it gets colder out. And she's like, you can't be casting prints in December, really? And I was like, yeah, I got a big dog man print that's just perfect. I mean, this couldn't have been better. And I said, if we get there when it opens, I said, I get back, I said, I could have the sun on that for a good 6 hours, and then I could bring it, scoop it up with a shovel, put it in a box, and then bring it in the house to cure. And my mom's like, all right, if you're after it, and she knows I hate cold weather, she's like, I've got to see this thing. So Mom comes over, and now I looked that tree line over. I didn't see him. I, honest to God, did not see the creature that made this print. But I looked, and I had looked hard. It was nowhere. So I walked up there, and with the tape measure, I was showing my mom how extremely big that is and everything. And she's like, all right, yeah. She goes, I think you're right. We need to definitely cast this. Let's go get some plaster. So we did, and I get back, and I was only gone for maybe an hour and a half. And even though it was broad daylight and in my backyard, it was completely, raked clean. Like, big claw marks just raked through it. And I was like, no, man. They're so hard to get prints on. They're so hard to cast their prints and catch one. And David's got his hand in the air right now. He's nodding his head like, yeah. It's hard because because some of them, I showed you that picture of one where we're literally casting his print, and I'm trying to keep his head off of David and on me and entertained on me, and I'm shooting pictures of the thing left and right. It's been some crazy times in the field. It's hard to get those prints. Well, David had gone out. The dog was driving him crazy. We have a Great Dane, female.
Hold up.
She's driving him crazy to take her
I
out.
don't mean to cut you off. Wait a minute. A dude or Carlito, that guy named Chris Anderson, man, get rid of him. Remove him. Because I know they already sent you over here to say this negative stuff about me, but it don't matter, though. Remove him. Mr. Carlito.
Just ignore those people.
Named Chris Anderson.
They got nothing better to do. Just don't even worry about those kind of people. I don't worry about naysayers. I don't worry about people that's got to slander people they don't know, and heck with them. So it's not worth the energy.
Right.
If they want to sit here, let them sit here.
Okay.
So anyway, David gets called by the Great Dane. He's got to go outside, take her outside, and she can be really hard to hang on to. She's a massive dog, and David went down the steps,
not like I've heard,
she just leaped and jerked him
being messed with
around the side of the house and landed in the driveway, and he comes falling after her, literally to look up at a dog man that's head is up by the roof of the garage, and yet it's knelt down on one knee, and it's got its hand down on one knee, and its other hand and elbow up on its other knee, just sitting there like it's been waiting on him. And it looked at him, and David, he said that all they could do is stand there with his mouth hanging open like, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
And this thing said to him, you won't take my print.
Wow.
And then just vanished, literally vanished before his eyes. He could not see it. And he drugged Gracie right back in the house. It was like, oh, he had no part of that. He woke me up and he says, all right, shift change. We literally sleep in shifts at my house. There is not one night that there is a person not awake in this house to protect everything we have and to keep the things out of the house because they do come in.
Wow.
And I've had people say things to me, oh, such a blessing. You have such a blessed life. And they have said things like, oh, I'd give anything to be you. You know what? I don't think many people would want to put my shoe on and walk a mile in it.
No,
but
they
David's
don't.
sitting here shaking his head like, no.
They don't.
We thought this was all well and cool in the beginning, but they can change your life real quick.
They definitely can.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely can.
And there's pictures of them staring in my windows. You know, I have pictures of them all over the place. I have pictures out in the field or, you know, some of my research areas. They show up. They just are showing up wherever I try to go and not deal with them. It's like they're on the menu now. They're not going to move. They're not going to budge.
Right.
So literally going out into the field now, it's always, you just expect that anything is possible today. If something good happens, we'll be thankful for it. And if you get nothing, well then, that's a good day too. We got to enjoy the outdoors and not be swamped by Dogman.
Right.
In all honesty, that's how we feel about it. I mean, we don't carry weapons towards them. I have friends that have been in situations where they were able to obtain a body and kill one that was literally just, I mean, you want to wreak havoc. I mean, have your farm animals and everything you own destructed. You're going to start destructing back, especially when you get hurt.
Wow.
And I know a person that did that, and they told me if you need to get down with it, you have to do what you got to do to save yourself or your own. This is how you kill it. And I was astonished at, and I am astonished all the time at people saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to take an AR-15 and I ain't got no problem. I'll cut that thing in half." Yeah, right. That's all I got to say. Yeah, right. It's not something you're going to go out there and, I mean, I just took a picture of something that's 20 feet tall, measured the tree for people. They can see the height, and then they can see the comparison when it's not there. So, here you go. 20 feet tall. Now put yourself in front of that. Do you know how little you feel?
Yeah,
you feel like a bug.
I'm talking about the one that was looking over the top of that tree that you sent me.
Giant.
The tree was like 40 feet.
Giants here too.
Man, that's wow.
Yeah. The head on that thing was at least 3-4 feet wide,
right.
And that's not the first photo like that. I was just one of the examples I shared with you.
Yeah.
We like to call those dire wolves.
Yeah.
We have not had any problems from the dire wolves, although they're a huge curiosity about us.
Right.
And I've seen the Sasquatch walking with them, and their heads are as tall, like this Sasquatch, an 11-footer Sasquatch, is pretty average around here.
Right.
When you talk males. And this thing's head was like bobbling along beside him, and its shoulders on the Sasquatch were the same width as the head on that, what I want to call the dire wolf. Why do I want to call it that? Because there's nothing else that fits it. There's no other place in my dictionary that I can find a word, so I'm giving it to you all as a dire wolf. Whether you believe it's a dire wolf or not, I don't know. I really don't care, but I'm telling you this is what it did. These things are at least 10 feet long. They're way up there. If they're on all fours, their heads are monsters. And we literally, where we used to live, there was one late at night. We would go out in the middle of the night. We'd just be out there just watching things and stuff. And we had been in the field that day, and this giant dog thing kept following us. And I was like, oh, my God, I don't know what that thing is. Oh, my God, And so then we went home that night, and we were out in the middle of the night and stuff. And it literally sat down underneath this huge oak tree towards the end of the driveway. And it was more like a lane. It was huge. And we could see it quite clearly from where we were at because it was so big. I was like, man, I know that door is closed. And I'm ready to jump for it. And I had the mind to take a picture. And its body, behind it was the dude next door's 4-wheel drive truck. And it's like one with the lift kit and all that. And the body lined up with that thing perfect to where if you tried to put it in the back end of his truck, it wouldn't have fit.
Wow.
It would not have fit. That was on some cards. I had some cards that got taken by some, I call them gooks. They work for the government. And that was one of the pictures that I had, the very first picture of a dire wolf that I had gotten. Now, since then, I've gotten a lot of those. But you always like to have your first stuff, you know?
Right.
And as much as they try to stop me from what I'm doing and all that, you know what? If it's there and it's visible, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to share it with the people that want to know what's going on in this world.
Right, right. And the pictures that you shared with me, I mean, the dead ones, you can see the entrails and all that. Man, a person wouldn't believe it if they didn't see it.
Creepy stuff.
Yeah, person wouldn't
And,
believe
you
it if
know,
they
up
didn't see
until
it.
now, I haven't even shared those photos. I've shared those in my private group, but I have not shared those with public anywhere. Because, for one, I know that people are probably going to share the crap out of it, and before you know it, somebody's going to be cutting pieces of it, and, you know, I don't want to see my pictures chopped up.
Right.
But they tell a story.
Yeah. Hey, Shell, Nugi said, he said, was it on all fours? He said, correct, it was on all fours, right? I guess the dire wolf thing.
Yes, the dire wolves, yes.
Yeah,
They're only
all
on all
fours.
fours. I've never seen them walk any other way.
The Jato, I'ma ask her. If she give me permission, then I'ma share some on the page. But I'ma ask her first. I'm not gonna just put them out there because they not mine. But she said as long as I ask her and get her permission, then I can.
Then I'll decide what, at the end of the show, we'll decide what's most relevant, what they're most interested in.
Okay, yeah, because
and,
we'll
talk.
you got a lot of good pictures. A lot of good pictures. What else you can tell I guess me, and the listeners about these I'm not gonna say the werewolves. I'm gonna say these Dugman creatures. Do you think they dangerous or curious or
Oh, it's a little all of the above, and like I said, each one is an individual. You may have a decent one that's keeping its space away from you, just watching, just curious of you. I don't know why they get so curious of me, why they end up in my backyard, but yeah, they've got a curiosity about them. Usually, if you just respect them, they'll keep their distance and respect back. I definitely around my home do not cast prints anymore. I mean, no. We don't. One threat is good enough. I don't need another. Not when they come in that size. We've been in the field and casted prints, and it's really dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And you shared a picture with me today of the UFO, and you got it on camera, or the picture of the Bigfoot running. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So many people, that's another question I get off, we're going to get off the topic of Dogman, but a lot of people have asked, are the Bigfoot and the UFOs related or relatable?
Because some people have said they've seen them come out.
I've been out, and in every instance that I've been out where I've been researching everything, and then UFO shows up, it's like a buzzkill. Everything just goes quiet, and nothing wants to deal with it, And then when it leaves, the Bigfoot are usually hooping and hollering and celebrating. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty telling.
Right.
So that's what I have on that topic. We won't elaborate.
Right.
Do I think that these UFOs and the Dogman are connected? Yes, I do. And I had that conversation with you and your wife about information that our government had been making them, how and why, how the mutilations of cows and cattle, of horses, come into play with that. And how our government's involved in that, and that they're dropping down these man-made dog soldiers is what we should be calling them.
Wow.
But how in the world do we sit there and I've showed you hyena, I've showed you
Yes, you have.
mastiff, I've showed you huskies, I've showed you all different kinds.
Yes, you have.
Of dog
Yes,
men.
yes, you have.
Okay, but what?
You broke up, Dion.
One of my students and dumped it in a bonfire. So that's definitely a wicked, mean entity. And that was one of the ones named by this person that had done biomechanical engineering with aliens and our government, had said the hyena, the lion, the grizzly bear. These are all types of a species that may be identical to what the predecessor was, or something that's sister to it. So can it breed and things like that? We don't know. And I doubt our government's going to give us that intel. So I think there's something out there that we should be labeling dog soldier. Then we have something that is natural, more to this world, even just 1,000 years old or a couple thousand years old, that's related to the Sasquatch having that Sasquatch body style and a dog head on it. Those are, and they're more pliable. Those things on the scene. You got to watch any of these canine things when you turn around and trying to watch your back, because you don't want to run. You don't want to trigger that response, because they are part canine. So even though they may be cool and hanging out with Sasquatch,
wait a minute, Charles. You know she in the midst of Midwest.
I have had a wolf creature get nasty over food, and it got nasty over food. It had a deer. It was eating. It was feeding its young, and I just showed up in my backyard with my dog, and man, that thing started showing a picture of it. I showed you that. If it hadn't been for the Sasquatch to come running out of the woods and like go between me and them, it kind of like give me that look like you need to take your dog in the house. You know, I was already on my way. Trust me. But I just wanted to get that one picture of it showing its teeth at me. I could sometimes push the limits. I'm trying to get better at that.
Right.
But yeah, I got a picture of it, and it was, in fact, a wolf creature that got nasty and showed its teeth at me. And that particular one did it all summer long. So not all of them are going to be perfect and friendly, just like not all Sasquatch are going to be perfect and friendly. So you've got to watch your six, and you don't need to be out there alone. So all those researchers out there that think they can go it alone, I learned the hard way. You don't go it alone, and I just did another radio show on portals and wormholes, and we happened to end up going through one in Dogman territory, and we were stuck on an island, and it was not a good situation whatsoever. And thank God I had a partner with me, because if I'd have been alone, I'd have been done for. I mean, just done. And in a lot of these dogman situations, it takes two of us. And I always have a getaway driver even. And like, all right, cram the camera equipment in the car, and everybody just dive in, grab a door, just go, hit the gas, you know. And I've gotten some awesome pictures on the way out the door. You know, leaving their area, and it's coming after us. Quick, got you. You know, been hanging out of the door with a cell phone to get a picture of them coming after us or something. You know, it's like, I'm not going to do this and not get as much as I can out of it. So that's why I've gotten so many photos. People keep asking me, why is it you have all these photos? Why is it you, all these beings? Well, hello, it's because I am a photography nerd, love my photography. David's of that same mind, and you know, has that, you know, we like our equipment, we like the other beautiful stuff that we're getting when we're out there. You know, we're not out there purposely looking for anything. When we go out there, I mean, sometimes it's just taking pictures of beauty, and then it just all breaks loose on us. But maybe it's that approach. Maybe it's that we're not out there. I always said you can't go out finding Bigfoot. You go out there, find yourself, and they will find you. Well, that's true. That's how we roll. And it's the same with Dogman. We don't particularly go out looking for them. We're not expecting them when they pop up. That's how I've gotten all those photos of different things.
Right.
And I hope that I never hear that question again because I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, because you got pictures of furries, gnomes,
Yeah.
cat. Can you tell them a little bit about these cat beings and the bat beings that you seen and you got pictures of that you showed me?
Sure. Cat people. For one, they are like a ninth dimensional entity, highly telepathic, and they're way cool. They really are. They seem all protective. They show up here usually in June, and they'll hang out until it starts getting really hot, and then they vamoose. They're not here that much out of the year. I try to be respectful and not get too many photographs of them or seem too impending on them because I do think they're kind of what holds things all together here. I think they come in at that right time when you got the nasty dog men, the big ones and stuff running around and coming up north, and I think they kind of hold the fort down and try to keep the peace, is what I think. Because these big males you've seen, their heads are like the size of 4 tigers. I mean, they're just giant. And the females and the I guess the youth and stuff, they're not giant like the daddy. I've seen 2 of the male. They're different. They could be different types, or they could be the black. You've seen the black ones that got the really, really eye.
Yes.
I've got black ones like a light green, a yellow eyes. That one looks like just an all-out panther. I mean, it's just.
Sorry about that, y'all. Shell,
I'm here.
we lost you.
Okay, I was here listening to everything going on, but it was just sorry.
That's okay.
I haven't moved. I've been staying in the same spot since you said I had signal. I'm right in the same spot. And you have to forgive me. I live out from busy area. So.
Right. Now can you tell us about the bat beings because you have shown I have seen the pictures. Yeah.
Okay. They're kind of like a bat canine type thing. This happened going back when everybody started saying they were seeing a Mothman. Well, a month prior to that, we had encountered it in the night, and the thing shot straight up, and it was really frightening, and we didn't know what to think of it. Hear the wind coming through as it dove back down to the ground, almost like Jeepers Creepers. You know how that thing shoot up out of the ground?
Yeah.
These things can shoot up out of the tree straight up, and when they dive back down, their wings like make this flapping noise like a kite would. And so I've got a picture of the father, which is a big being, like I showed you. It had some kind of some pinkish red eyes.
Yeah.
And then the white eye shine from the female is much smaller. She's 5 foot. She had all her teeth on her. And then I showed you a picture of the young that was probably 3-4 months old, which tend to grow, I guess, extremely fast.
Right.
And then the investigation that had been ongoing that I had been doing that year was we had an extremely wet year after many years of drought, and we have a lot of quarries around here. Quarries built Chicago. We are limestone. This is limestone everywhere here. And so we've got these, just 6 miles from here is the second largest limestone quarry in the world that used to make the movie Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves. That quarry was down to where there was like no water in the bottom for years. I mean, trees are growing up down in there and stuff. And all of a sudden, water. Everything was full. Like you're talking hundreds and hundreds of feet. You used to look down to the bottom of these things, and now all of a sudden the water is just like, you're going around a guardrail and a fence, cruising around these areas that are closer to the city, and the water is all the way up. And so I think literally what happened is these were some kind of creature that may have been in our past or not even. This is something that's usually so far out there we don't see it because they're not all out at the same time. These things seem to be all over that summer. And I was working with J.C. Johnson on the whole issue, and it was believed to just go 60 miles north of here, and they were seeing a Mothman. And I'm going, that's not a Mothman. It wasn't. And there was no bad occurrences. There was one person that was supposed to be investigating this, that investigates people's encounters. They don't really get out there and investigate like I would. But and I had talked to the director of Illinois MUFON because they were going to do a whole show on this. And I said, hey, before you go out there and jump out on a limb and make yourself look kind of goofy with these claims, you need to know some facts behind the being that is in question. So I gave him the information, and he's like, oh, my God, that's exactly what would have happened tonight. He was on his way to one of these big meetings that was going to be broadcast, and he was knocking down the idea of it being Mothman in Chicago, and he was saying, there's other species and entities that have been captured, by camera, and various different strategies as far as investigating the origins and all of that. He said, so, let's not jump to any conclusions. So that was a good thing because this other person, I guess, was actually paying off people that were ethnically very religious and stuff, and they believed they had seen a demon in the Mothman and all that stuff. And they would say it didn't have any eye color to it. My director went back out and asked these people, when this account was read back to us, you said that it had red eyes. And he's like, oh, no. And he showed him. He says the guy gave him a $100 bill to say it had red eyes.
Right.
So that whole Mothman thing just kind of died away, if you noticed.
Right.
But so did the flooding, and a new season came along, and everything's back to normal. And these things can go back to where they're from. I have never seen. That's fine with me because they would literally pick up dogs, cats, squirrels, whatever, right off the ground, and there they go.
Right.
So it was really hard taking our dogs out in the night when. Yeah, these things were definitely, especially the male, big enough to take off with anything it wanted.
Michelle.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Questions on that?
Any when y'all send y'all questions, put them in all caps, so y'all can answer anything y'all want about any of the cryptids. Oh, before they send their questions, that picture that you showed me today of that rake. I think it was on
coming
somebody.
up out of the ground. I took that off the live feed.
Yeah.
I was talking in my group. Yeah, that came up out of the ground, and I didn't even catch it. It was one of my students that was out there showing him some prints, and he said, hey.
Yeah, but you got another rake that was on somebody's property.
Oh, those things are nasty. It was on my property.
Yeah. Okay, your property. Yeah. I seen it. You know what I mean? And it, like I said, it had like bug type legs, and I had an eyewitness in Maryland that seen one that looked the same way. So I don't know if they come in different, whatever, or how tall these things get, and it's crazy. Y'all got questions? Put them in all caps.
I've seen. Okay, when you talk to rake, the rake goes back a long way for me, into the 80s. People generally think that the rake is just a white or very pale, modern day like vampire type creature, because they literally, when they have a kill, they will, they'll grab a raccoon or something and literally like break its pelvis bone and its upper arm, and it'll take a blood out of its stomach, and then it'll lay each organ just licked clean. There's no veins left in the raccoon at all.
Wow.
And all the organs are neatly laid out, and what's still attached to the organs are the nerves, and they just got it all laid out. And even the heart, I figured they would at least eat the heart. Heart's full of blood,
Mm.
and they got to have some protein. But then again, maybe this is why they're so gangly. I don't know. But
Right.
they literally, right around the wound, the hair was sucked to where it was just pink. There was no blood on the ground whatsoever. And, the liver also is another thing. Sasquatch, when they take a kill, the first thing eaten is the liver and the heart,
Wow.
But these things, they just lay it all out, and it's all licked clean. And you'll see inside the wound, bugs starting to do their thing or whatever, but that'll be the only gruesome thing there, because there is no blood left and there is no veins, arteries left. That you won't find any mess on the ground except for where, these cleaned, licked off organs are laying. It's incredible.
Okay, I got a question.
I don't think I shared those graphic photos with you, but I can.
Okay. This comes from a member out of the chat, Dijato. He say, have you seen any dugmen around other cryptids besides Bigfoot?
I've seen them around basically aliens. I don't see Dogman around Sasquatch. I see wolf creatures around Sasquatch. The cat people I've seen with Sasquatch. Never Dogman. Never. I don't even see the cats around the wolf creatures.
Wow. Put y'all questions in all caps when y'all ask them.
Let me say one more thing that's quite important about the rake.
Okay.
Not all of them are white. We've had pure black ones. I mean, like,
wow.
as black can get. Black like a panther black.
Wow.
And so those things at night could be just 10 feet from you. If it's running in the shadows, you don't even know it's there.
Wow. So
my mom, when I was a teenager, swerved out on the main two-lane road that comes out to this area, and one of them ran out in front of us. It was up on its toes and its fingers, running across the road. It was black, and she slid the car sideways, trying not to hit it. And I was like, "Oh, please don't roll right now."
Wow.
We're done. But that really terrified us. So we were telling my dad about it and stuff when we got home. And he's like, "Yeah," he goes, "I seen something like that out there in the field." He goes,
right.
And I just couldn't quite, wrap my head around it. The moon was on it. If that was a being there, or it was, So my dad had seen them. I was taking my son's girlfriend home once and had one of them run right out from a farm, and it was going across the road into a wooded area, and I was just turning the corner, hitting the accelerator. I was about up to 30, and this thing bounced right off the driver's front fender of my SUV and, shoved with its hands and kept running at the same time. It was up on 2 feet running, and it was just a blur, and it was into the woods, and it had I had marks on my hood where its hands touched and everything, but it didn't leave a dent. It didn't leave scratches or anything. It just pushed itself, and it was so fast that it could just go with the flow. And that was pretty scary to me. I mean, I see how fast they can move. I know there's no chance for us out there if one of them decides it's coming on us.
Right. Okay. Got another question. I got a lot of questions, but this one right here comes from Al. He said, any truth to the rumors that Dugman kill rakes?
Kill rakes?
Yeah.
I have never seen a dead rake from a dog man. I have never seen rake in the presence of any of the other beings. I can't answer his question.
Okay, because some people say, man, yeah, Doug, man, kill rakes. You know what I mean? I don't know how true it is. All right, here go my another question. Diana want to know. Go ahead. Go ahead, Shell.
I have not seen anything like that. I know I showed you plenty of graphic photos of Dogman getting with it, and been anywhere near a rake or a rake in a vicinity of any other being.
Right.
Whenever we've encountered rake, it's just been the rake.
Right. Okay. Diana got a question. She want to know, how do these Doug men, or what do they look like? Because she never seen one. So
what is she asking?
What do
Dogman?
Dogman look like? Yes.
Well, I showed you a lot of their. You can have them look like a hyena. You can have them look like a bear. Some of them have mastiff heads. Another one, I showed you the mean one that got killed. I've never seen a dog look like that, but it looks like a lot of the rendition or drawings that I've seen out there, the artists to make something that's got tiny, short, pointy ears and a really wide face or mouth, almost pit bullish, only bigger.
Right.
Bigger in style.
Right.
God, it's hard to do this.
Right. Okay, I got another question out of the chat, and this comes from Ghostly Hunter. He want to know, are the rakes a type of Wendigo?
I believe so, no.
Okay. I got another question for
personally, I believe that they're probably the government had gave them species number 2 as a name. Bigfoot was species number 5. So I imagine they've been around a long time, and I would assume that it's probably something very alien to this world.
Right.
They really do have an alien in appearance. They have really super, super reflective eye shine, where humans don't. Yet their eyes would be the same size as humans.
Okay. Another question, and this coming from Al. He want to know, is the rake the same creature we used to call ghouls? Ghouls. Ghouls.
Yes, actually, a lot of people do call them ghouls. J.C. Johnson and I would be, talking back and forth. He'd be talking about the ghouls, and then I'd be talking about the rake, and then like, wait a minute, are we talking about the same thing? And then I realized that, people are calling this the ghoul, and some people are calling it the rake. So yeah, it's the same species.
Right.
I'm pretty sure of it.
Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask this. I'm gonna go another question, but I already know the answer to this. But have you seen any real giants?
Giants, as in like a giant, or giant like dogmen? Because yes, to both of that. I got pictures and comparisons, everything with a real giant. You've seen them. Those things were up around 80 to 100 feet in height. Yeah. I mean, the tallest trees around here were up at its head.
Right.
I would say that's a giant.
Right. Somebody want to know.
As far as dogmen, some of those giant dogmen, those pictures that I showed you, those things were up around 30 and 40 feet tall. And that was where I just called it quits last summer. I called it the summer of carnage. I mean, I was watching and taking photos of so much carnage, and I showed you some of that stuff. It was breaking my heart.
Right. And
then when I seen the size of that last photo where they were ripping that one apart, and you seen all the guts and everything, and I was just like, seeing the size of them, it just ruined me. I'm not taking no more photos this season.
Right. Shell.
That was just too much.
Shell,
you have to understand, I grew up with these Bigfoot.
Okay.
So watching them get ripped apart, to me, is like watching one of my neighbors get slaughtered.
Right.
Well, it was hard. It was hard. It wasn't easy.
Somebody want to know, where do these gnomes and furries come from?
I have no clue. I don't know where where they come from.
Right.
I just know that I've gotten them in photos, and
Yeah, you definitely do.
I've seen them. That's really not my forte. If they show up in a photo, hey, and they're usually with other beings. They're not by themselves.
Right.
They really like the cat beings.
Yeah. How I'm gonna ask this question. How often was you saying them UFOs? Because you showed me a picture today in broad daylight when it's hovering over your yard. So it's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, it's any given night. You can go out there 2-3 nights in a row and check out the sky, see nothing. You could go out there 10 minutes later and go, oh my God, you know. If you guys
Right.
go to Whisper Walker's Instagram, you can see, you know, all the beings. They got all the beings there. I don't think I've posted a fairy photo or a photo of the gnomes. I try not to. I don't want to get hit up by a bunch of those people that are all into that stuff because, yeah, no, just leave that alone. But
Okay.
you know, it happens.
Right. I got another question. This comes from Ghostly Honey. He say, do cameras and motion lights keep these creatures away?
No, somebody told me that they would, and I thought I would try it out. All it did was make them mad.
Wow. Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, I tried back in the day when I was trying to, after my dad died, and I was trying to just move on with my life and let my mom, you know, kind of have her independence. I thought well, you know, the quiet will do me good. Yeah, right. It seemed like everywhere I moved, I just moved further and further into that den, you know?
Right. He got another question. He wanted to ask what color is the UFO in the photo?
The lights were a variation. Like I said, if they hop on over to Instagram, they'll see pictures of that. The colors were going around it were all different colors. There's the other ones I've got that were like hot pink and blue and green. There's just been a variety of shapes, styles. One that was nothing but orange. It's just been varied.
Right.
The
You know,
red
because
fireballs look like lava. Those things go floating behind my mom's house all the time. I haven't seen them over on this side, but on the west side where my mom's at, I've seen them over there. Those big lava balls.
right. Because I have seen I seen it and the picture and the one you took in broad daylight and it's just crazy. I done seen that real big orb that you caught.
Oh yeah, the giant orb. I forgot about that thing. That thing was what, about the size of a basketball?
Yeah. Or a little bigger. Ghostly Hunter wanna know,
It was huge.
are these daylight sightings or nighttime?
All across the board.
Both, Lee.
I heard that giggle, Marvin. I heard that. You looked at
Yeah,
these
both.
photos, you know.
Right, yeah, both. Yeah, both. But what else I wanted to say? Um, I don't know. I guess when after this show over, and we talk about which was you, it's alright for me to put on the page and let them that I can share with them.
Yeah, I can make a post and just, I can say, here's a variety. They can just go to his Instagram and go look over there. I mean, there's an example of everything. So I don't put all my pictures there, but I don't put all my pictures out for the public.
Oh yeah,
And if I did put all of it out,
Al just said it. He said she don't share
go ahead.
pictures with the public like that. Somebody want to know.
He knows me,
Yeah,
and a lot of
yeah.
people do.
The Jato want to know. Have you heard of gargoyles? Or
Yep.
is it
And I thought at first that's what that bat creature was that we were dealing with. I thought big gargoyles. Yeah, that was one of the things I thought it might be.
right?
And I really don't. I can't rule that out. I don't know really what that thing is.
Right.
Now, once again, sometimes there's just no label for what you've discovered.
He also want to know what about?
I know it's definitely not a Mothman.
Right. He also want to know what about lizard men, lizard people?
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, understandable. The Jato, she don't
Sorry,
want
I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, she don't want to talk about that. So
There's some place. All right. I've got footage, a lot of it, and I've loved it. It's definitely something I've got to stay quiet on. It's not a rattlesnake's nest you want to kick.
right, and I understand.
And then no pun intended. No pun intended either. That was
Right.
like strictly off the cuff. I wasn't even trying to be
Right,
kind of funny.
I understand though.
Sometimes you got to think of your safety and your families first, and that's
yeah,
where I'm at with that. And I hope people can appreciate that.
Right. I mean, they can. I mean, I'm sure they can. Let me ask you this.
I mean, I've showed you pictures of Men in Black.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never showed anybody those pictures.
Yeah.
Men in Black out here.
At your house, yeah.
Yeah.
You have. You know. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's crazy. So what I'm going to say, have you because I mean we was talking about it, have you ever seen any goat men?
I shared that one picture with you that's not very good. I think it was an old cell phone.
That horns?
Samsung like 5 or something. And it had horns.
Yeah.
And it looked like a Sasquatch, but yet it didn't. And, I heard it coming down the field and like the tree line connecting to the field. I heard it in that area, so it's kind of a stretch out there. And then, I was trying to dogs up and get them in. It was getting that time of night, so it's not a great photograph of it, but it's definitely obvious it had horns, and it's definitely obvious it's big.
Okay.
I do believe there's somebody out there that's got one.
Yeah.
I looked at the photo. I didn't tear it apart extensively. It could have easily been faked, in my opinion. Yeah. But people could say that about my roar. Sometimes when you have something that's too good, people want to really, really ridicule you or go after you. And I have literally gave up some of my photos and said, here, you have a photo specialist go through it, and there you go. Prove to yourself it's not photoshopped. And anyway, I don't even own Photoshop. Right. And it'd probably be way too technical for me anyway. I can play with a camera, and take great photos out in the field. But when it gets time to come to the house or whatever, I'm not going to sit around and play with this stuff. It's like there it is.
Right.
You see what you see, or you don't see.
Right.
Not my problem.
Right. You're absolutely right about that. Let me ask you this. Because I have seen you had showed me that picture of the lion type, with the mane and all that. The head on it is just
the one.
The head is just too big. It's too big.
He was in a fight. Yeah, he's got a bloody mouth, and bloody eye. He's been in a fight, and then later that summer, his eye shine was 2 different colors. One eye would turn a coral, the one that was injured, and the other one, it would go red. He's not nice. He's not a nice dog man, no. I don't think there is nice dog man. I've been getting wind of a few people trying to tell everybody they're all pleasant. You just got to know how to approach them. They're all brothers and sisters. Oh, come on. Get off the bone. I mean, really.
Right.
If you ain't out there doing this 24/7, and you on Earth, could you make a blanket statement like that?
Right.
You know, show me where they're playing nice. Okay, show me that. Show me where they're shaking hands with a Sasquatch for real. Come on.
Right.
But there are people out there that are that naive, and all I can say to them is, I hope they got a good guardian angel over their shoulder. Because if they're going to go playing with every dog man and every wolf creature out there, thinking they can be buddies with them, those people got a problem, and those people are going to end up harmed.
Wow. You're right, and that's probably what's going to happen.
I know. It's only a matter of time. One of these dogman gurus goes out there. I even had somebody try to get in touch with me. He wanted to know how he could become one, how he could turn into one. And this, oh my God, this guy would make so many different accounts and coming at me. And it was always the same thing. He wanted to, okay, well, can I be a skinwalker? That's something we didn't touch on, skinwalkers.
Yeah, right.
The difference between dogman and skinwalkers actually do originate as a human, and they're deep into that southwest area of witchcraft and things like that. And J.C. Johnson was a really good friend of mine. I couldn't say good enough things about the man. He was incredible. He was credible in his research, and as a fellow researcher, he's very respectful to everyone. But he did tell me that was one of his things was really a lot of skinwalker. And you can look up on YouTube. He's got a lot of skinwalker stuff. He said you could be sitting next to them in church on Sunday, and that night they could be 4 or 5 different animals combined. They were just more like shapeshifters, if you will. I don't think that I've come into contact with anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have had some question on werewolfish, John Laney type looking, and I showed you a photo of a Sasquatch that literally his head was being carried on his spine, and it was by what looks like something you would see off of that type of dog man, where it looks werewolfish or something, but it was quite large, if you recall, and the head that the Sasquatch that was being carried was not small either.
Right. Yeah, I seen that picture.
You know, you can see the teeth and the eyes, everything about the dog thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was. I've never seen another dog man look like that. Is werewolf a thing? Has the government been dropping things down and labeling them werewolf? That is a rumor. So, you know, who are we to say?
Okay.
I would say that it's in everybody's best interest.
All right, Noogie want to know.
Have something out there.
Mm-hmm. Noogie want to know. Have you seen any pups?
Yeah, lots of them.
Could you tell us how they look?
The dogman pups or the wolf creature pups?
Both.
The dogman pups that the dogman pups that I seen were of the one that got killed, and I mean they were literally like everywhere, and they looked just like their daddy. The mother was more of a gray wolf looking being, and she was showing great emotion and sadness, and even one of the pups was like trying to climb on him. But his brain matter was like spilling out, and it was really bad.
Wow.
But his pups did look just like him.
Right.
Wolf creature, you couldn't tell one pup from one couple the others. You see Sasquatch walking around carrying them all the time. They look like they had a black puppy in their hand or something. The wolf creatures look like long-haired black German Shepherd when they're babies. That's what I could attribute them to. I seen one, and I have a picture of it somewhere. I didn't show you that. It was out by the edge of the field, just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a picture of it.
Wow. Wait a minute, let me see if any more questions. Okay,
Yeah.
Blackwater want to know. A lot of people say they want to go out and find Doug, man. What do you say about that?
That's what I was getting ready to say a minute ago. I don't recommend looking for them to anyone. And secondly, if you do come across anything canine encrypted, you should just get your immediate respect and you should get away from it. When I'm out in the field, I just get away from it.
Right.
When it's around my house, I showed you some blurry photos that I took through a screen and a window because I didn't want to get out there with it.
Right.
Because sometimes it isn't alone or it isn't friendly, and you really don't know it, especially if you're by yourself. You don't need to approach these things alone.
Right.
Usually when David or I see something out there, we automatically let the other one know, hey, got this out there is in the tree line. Or, hey, check this out. Just took a picture of this. This is what's out there. We stay in contact, and if we're going to have to go out and there's dogmen that we've seen just before dark or something, do we go alone? No, we don't.
Wow.
You should never go into the field alone, ever.
Right. We'll get some more.
And you shouldn't chase anything canine down, because you just don't know what tree you might be barking up.
Okay, Noogie want to know, where is all this activity happening at?
Okay, a lot of it happens right here in my home. Secondly, I research in any direction within 500 miles at any given time. I mean, it's everywhere around us. I have reports from Indiana. I have reports from Iowa, Missouri. I've gotten southern Illinois, northern Illinois, central Illinois. Then everywhere around there. Michigan and Wisconsin, Minnesota. See. Yeah, that about sums it up.
Okay, I want to know, do you think that Doug Man and Sasquatch are blood enemies?
I think it can depend. I think that sometimes maybe there's some of these dog soldiers that were created and they get loose and they really don't want to be what they are. And I have witnessed that one time. And it was a female and a male dog man together, which usually you don't see them together.
Right.
And they were together, and they both admitted telepathically they were here present, introducing themselves, their names, and that they were just literally wanting to be in peace, and could I help them with safe passage? And I was like, are you trying to pull some scam or something, No, we're not. No, we just want to be able to pass through here and not have war. And so I told him, well, I can get in touch with my clan leader and I can discuss it with him.
Right.
And so I did. I did let the clan leader know, and he come back to me and they let know they will be around here for a few days, and then they'll move on. there shouldn't be any problems with them, but if you encounter any problems with them, to let them know. And I was like, okay. So maybe there's dog soldiers out there that maybe have some healing qualities to them.
Right. Okay. Ghost. Lee wanna
I mean,
know.
we can't assume to know all of them. We can't assume to know all of it. All of it's going to be individual.
Right. Lee wanna know. Are these Dugmen guardians of portals?
No.
Okay.
None that I've ever seen. And I've showed you pictures of portals.
Yeah. You have. I got the picture. Somebody wanted to know any stories of Men in Black.
What about them?
You got any stories about them? Like, I guess they want to know if they.
I do have stories, but I'm not going to go live on the radio and talk about them.
Right,
I mean,
right.
no, I'm not that stupid.
I understand you. All right.
I could share some private stories, but
I know.
That's different. That's private.
Okay.
The radio, YouTube, no.
Okay, and I respect that. Al want to know: do you believe that their territories cross within each other?
Is he talking about Sasquatch or
Hey Al, you talking about Sasquatch or Dugman? Can you just text it to let me know, or all? I mean, I'm waiting for him to text it. Text it, Al, if you're talking about.
I have an answer. I think it's. I have an answer. I think it's good to.
What the?
Like cover that. Okay, so when you have the Sasquatch move like snowbirds, they go south in the winter. But a lot of times they would leave behind the leader and his immediate family if they don't want to lose their territory. And if somebody moves back into their territory before they have,
right.
now it's somebody else's territory for that person for as long as they're going to hold on to it. Now, dogmen.
Wait a minute. I gotta fix the sound. Wait a minute, Shell. I gotta go ahead and wait a minute. I'm trying to fix the sound. I don't know if it's coming from yours. Is your volume up? Shell?
I'm using a headset for you.
A headset? I mean, cause the sound just dropped. I don't know why. Wait a minute.
I hear you too. But
Wait a minute. I'm just trying to see if I can see what the see why the sound like that, which I don't even know because it was just up. You know what I mean? Could hear you loud and clear, and then it just stopped. I'm like, I mean, I can. It's up though, but I don't see why it's. Matter of fact,
sometimes when I'm doing webinars, I need to turn off Facebook and Messenger and everything else integrates my phone. And if you're using the phone, that
yeah, but I don't know why it's. Oh, hold up, I know what it is. Hold up, you called my phone, so I gotta go back to the phone. Let me go back to the phone, cause you should be on here. No, that ain't you.
So I think that other people can hear me. I think that you're probably the one not hearing me. So I can answer the question.
Okay.
Am I good?
There you go. There you go. You back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So territories, relatively, Sasquatch has the go on everything. I mean, you'll find Sasquatch in places you wouldn't think you would find Sasquatch, but you will. And then you also have, if they brought in wolf creatures or allowed wolf creatures to live among them, there is a threat of dogmen somewhere. And usually it is not too long before that whole scenario presents itself and we've got a beat-up Sasquatch or a beat-up dogman. I mean, I showed you a lot of photos there,
Yes.
Marvin, so you can attest to that.
Right.
So I think whenever they decide they're going to come in and rape and pillage whatever they want, it's kind of their way. They just do it. I don't think it has anything to do with territories at all.
Right. So, yeah, you broke up, Shell.
Yeah, it's getting really cloudy.
Yeah.
So, Dogman Pack against Dogman Pack, I don't know. I know some places I could get that answer and ask. I just haven't. That's a good question. I haven't thought past some of the people that have continual packs living in their area. Mine is more a situation where they kind of roll through, and you may not see that one for a couple years, and then all of a sudden he reappears. It's a real strange thing. We're not going to know everything about these cryptids. There's just no way possible.
You're right.
I know a lot about a little.
Right.
Or I know a little about a lot. I don't even know how to word that, because they're only going to let you know how much they think you should know. Right. And I've noticed that with experiencers and habituators all across the world, one person may have a lot of information on this one particular topic with them, and then another one completely something else, a different topic, and then, myself, which I have focused on the habitat, I've focused on behavior and growth patterns. When they show me a baby, well, that next year I'm getting a picture of the baby. They're around the same time, them showing it to me, and I'm getting footprints, and I'm gauging how much has it grown. And so my whole approach to research and everything I do is probably different than what somebody else would do. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why we're getting such, diverse commentary when we do have these podcasts and we hear so-and-so saying this and so-and-so saying that. I think, personally, if everybody that is really having these encounters, because there is a protocol that Sasquatch uses to make contact with you. And if people are not telling me that they've gotten this protocol or they're using this protocol, I just kind of brush them off as non-existent.
Right.
Because I have never, and I've been almost all over this entire country, and they've all, when they've approached telepathically, have used a protocol. And so I keep that to myself. Only my students that have been there long enough with me that actually come to me and tell me the protocol themselves, then I believe that they're actually in contact with Sasquatch. Do I trust anything out in the field? Not long ago, somebody come forth with an interview, and a man was just terrified beyond his belief in life. He had PTSD all over the map, and he was trying to say that it was Sasquatch that had done that. And it highly sounded like dogman behavior to me,
right,
from what I've witnessed. And nobody even mentioned that or brought that up. And he never claimed that he actually seen the beings that he was talking to, or the beings that were particularly holding him hostage or holding him in this lawn chair or whatever. He never laid eyes on any of it. So a story like that, I just go, I don't put too much stock into it, because he didn't have any real evidence to show us this was what was doing these bad things to you.
Right.
Anything could say it's something else out there.
Right. Got it.
And when you open your mind up.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What was your question?
I had a question from Ghostly Hunt. He said, have you ever seen a bat squatch? I don't know what that is.
Bat squatch?
Yeah.
Not that I know of. I don't know what a bat squatch is.
Okay. You never explained I guess the difference as far as the skinwalker thing. Is it somebody that some people say that they got to make a sacrifice to turn and
I don't know. It's not. I don't live in the Southwest or privy to all that went on as far as what the Four Corners did in their investigations with the skinwalkers. It's not been something that's been on my tray, so I really can't comment.
All right.
I mean, I would just highly suggest you look up Four Corners, Cryptid Four Corners, YouTube, go to J.C. Johnson for answers for that, even though he's not with us anymore, but he really did a lot of extensive interviewing and stuff with people.
Okay, Scarborough want to know, is skinwalkers and shapeshifters the same thing or different entities?
I don't know. Once again, I don't know. I've experienced shapeshifters right here, but is shapeshifters the same thing as a skinwalker? Well, that's one question that I have.
Okay. He also want to know, has the Dugman population doubled in size the last 20 years?
Not even the 20 years. I mean, it's quadrupled just in the last 5 years.
Wow.
The last decade, it's just been, oh my gosh, I would have never dreamed it would be like this. We went from a decade ago getting 1, 2, 3 pictures a month to we see them daily. We see them more than we see the Sasquatch now. And that's a little bothersome.
Wow.
I definitely think that, people want to talk about 411 and always blame Sasquatch. No. There is so much more out there that not even given credence to. Not to mention aliens with their own portals and gateways and stuff. I think 411 is a combination of all things cryptid.
Right. Alien.
Yeah, either taking our people for experiments or eating them or whatever.
Now, Shell, I was on I was on Chris Cyrus' show. It was like 8 of us on there, and they got to the question to me. They said, "What do you think about the 411 and what do these cryptids have to do with it?" I said, and this just come from me. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Doug Man or Bigfoot or Goat Man Rake is taking these people because I haven't seen no proof yet. Until you show me some proof, then I agree with it. But we don't have no proof that these creatures are taking these people.
No, and like I said, I just did a show for Paranormal Portal, and it was on portals. We went through a portal, and in that show I discussed the energies of the portals, the parallel dimension, and all that stuff's discussed. If your viewers want to look that up,
right.
Brent Thomas is a really great host. I did that show for them.
Oh, okay. Now,
so if you got questions on that, I direct them there.
Okay, and Nugi want to know, what do you think the lifespan of a Doug Man is?
And I'm laughing sarcastically at all. I'm just thinking, how bad is he? I'm just thinking, okay, what's he up against daily? And who are his comrades? I can't put numbers on that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Dogman just came on our radar, like I said. Dogman had just started dealing with Dogman back in 2011 was like the first time. So it's only been 1 decade. How could we it all came to a conclusion of how old they get?
Right.
I mean, is it a question? Yeah, because I've had great big dogs my whole life, and their lifespan's supposed to be small. There's 6 to 8 years on Russian Wolfhounds and Great Danes and stuff. But mine have all lived to be 11, 12 years old. So,
wow.
Yeah, I could see that being a question because canines do have a shorter lifespan than humans. But you're talking something that has similar DNA as the Sasquatch, 63% human, 37% Chimera, and then dogmen, they're saying, or wolf creatures, say the same, 63% human, 37% canine.
Right.
So I would assume that would affect the lifespan, but then again, I've learned not to assume.
Right.
Because anything that you think you know and you don't really know, it gets proved differently. So I would not like any blanket statements like that when it comes to these canines or anything else that's animal related that's mixed with a human into a hybrid.
Right. Okay, got another question. Niggy want to know how many pups, and I think you heard on this, how many pups do a Doug man average?
I touched on that.
Yeah. And you said they can have a litter.
I have no clue. There's huge amounts, copious amounts of them in the tree line when that one got killed. So, yeah, he was breeding a lot. And he was having big litters, obviously.
Right. Okay, Al want to know, and this was for Doug man too, how long do Sasquatch live for?
3 times what we do. 3 times as long as we do.
Wow. All right, somebody want to know, where do Doug men usually be? Country or city?
Well, I'm out in the country, and everywhere I've encountered them has been country.
Okay.
If it's a small little town or city, yeah, they can be around.
Okay. Noogie want to know, how long do it take a pup to mature?
Well, I showed you that one that was younger 4 or 5 years ago, and then I showed you him full grown. I have to say that it was real similar to our teenage humans.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Oh, somebody wanted to know, Ghostly Hunter wanted to know, what are the 4-foot beings with blue glowing eyes? Have you heard anything about that?
4-foot tall beings with blue glowing eyes.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic in any way, but most all of these cryptids have glowing eyes, and most of the young ones are pastel in color, especially blue is real common, and they all grow. So maybe you see something that's 3 foot tall with glowing eyes, but the next year it may be 4.5, 5 foot tall.
Okay. Okay, I got you on that. Okay, far as these, like the, because I know you say that, I guess you said the wolf creatures, they get really big, you know. But do they get larger?
The males especially.
Oh, so do they get larger than Dougmen, or it just varies?
I've seen dogmen that are way bigger than the wolf creatures.
Wow.
I've seen dogmen, like I said, when I got those pictures of those ones that were standing up over the trees, and the trees are 40 feet tall, and they're dragging off in their mouth juvenile Sasquatches, it was just too much. I mean, it was just too much for my old mind to say, okay, taking a photo, and I'm done with this.
Wow.
It was insane. And so, once again, there is a variety of species out there from a variety of sources, and it's too variable for anybody to make blanket statements.
Right.
You got to be careful with that, because if you haven't studied all of this and in depth, and you still don't have your answers, well, it's a little hard to make big, huge blanket statements. I mean, I just can't. I can't claim what I don't know.
Right.
I've been studying it as fast as I can, as hard as I can, and for as long as I've had.
Lee want to know, have you ever tried to use a Doug whistle to see if they would respond?
No, I'm more considerate than that. Like I said, everything about these beings and still being here on Earth breathing is about respect. And if a dog whistle hurts your dog's ear, what do you think it'd do to theirs? I'm not going to cuss it.
Yeah, they might
He wants
react
to come
different.
over and
They might react differently too.
I just don't want to even take that chance.
Oh, blame you.
No, some things are not worth the chance. Especially when they can literally leap and jump 60, 70 feet at a time.
Huh?
No, I don't want to blow a whistle and have the thing pounce on me. No thanks.
Right. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Let me see. Somebody else said something. Hold up. Noogie want to know, where could a 40-foot creature be in the United States? Basically, where can it hide at? Oh.
Anywhere there's woods. I would have never thought it'd be here, but it was. You've seen the photos.
Yeah, I have. Somebody want to know. I don't think they might have joined late. He want to know, what are cat people?
They're a very high dimensioned being that is a sentient being. It's very docile. It stays to itself pretty much. It doesn't interact too much with us. It's like it's learning or it's studying us. When you have met them individually, or they've introduced themselves, they've been very kind, full of questions, very curious. Unfortunately, I have not had that interaction with them. My daughter did, and David did. I have, as much as I want it, they have not come to me, and I've tried to open that door. I've seen them out there. I've tried to communicate with them, and just study me. They just watch me, and I just let them.
Okay, Scarborough want to know.
I do it back.
Scarborough want to know, do Dugmen seek out humans with certain types of bloodlines?
Not that I know of, but I don't know. I don't engage with communicating with the dogmen. I don't want to. I want to open my door up to the negatives like that. So I don't go embarking on any kind of questions or anything like that.
Okay, well, I know you said you don't engage in it.
I learn what I can from just studying it.
Right. Since you said that, though, somebody wanted to ask you, do you interact with them? The Doug man.
If they're in a behaved situation where they're not ripping something apart, and they're just there.
Let me see.
And then just a respectful, peaceful, what we're out, planting in the yard, working in the garden, whatever. If they're around, you acknowledge them. Fear seems to be one thing that I would think triggers them. We don't practice a fearful way with them. We try to keep our fear very in check and take opportunity of, okay, what's present, what can we learn from it? Approach. And maybe that's why they're respectful back, is because we are kind in our curiosity, and we're not all up in the grill.
Right. Noogie want to know.
Cameras.
Noogie want to know, are they aggressive?
Yeah. Some more so than others.
Right. But the wolf creatures are not aggressive like Dugmen are.
Oh, are the cat creatures aggressive? I have no clue. I've never seen them do anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that I've seen aggressive out there, Dogman, aliens, in many capacities, the rake,
Mm-hmm. Um, Al wanted to know. He said, does your Great Dane still play with the Squatch?
Yes. Yeah. Now there's two Great Danes in the house.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know that picture you showed me today about the thing with the funny had the long funny nose. You ain't know what it was though, and you said keep coming back every year, always come back. The thing that had the long nose, you didn't know whether if it was a Doug man or Squatch or. I just know it looked funny. Somebody want to know are cat people big and how big are they?
Once again, I'll refer them to Instagram.
Instagram.
There is
Okay.
extensive photos there of cat people. The Black Panther type, anywhere between 6 and 8 feet tall for a male. Females are smaller. Just, I would say they're kind of human sized, but the one in particular last year and this year that's here, he looks like a Black Panther, and he is absolutely enormous. His head is like, what would you say? If you stacked his head by a tiger's head, it's probably like 4 times the width, right,
Wow.
Dave? When you say that lion head is huge. It's
I've
absolutely
seen
huge.
it. That is it. That thing got a big head.
It's massive.
That thing got a big head. Okay, somebody had a good question. Somebody said, but does the Bigfoot look more human or ape-like?
No different than we do. I mean, every single one of them has a different appearance.
Wow.
I showed you a lot of photos,
Yeah, you did.
Marvin.
You did.
Did you see 2 dogmen that look the same? Did you see dogmen that look the same? Did you see any Sasquatch that look the same?
No. They all different in appearance. And you showed me one picture though, where that one looked
And
more
I even
ape-like.
showed you one that
Would
where it
look
looked
more
really
ape-like.
apish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very chimpish. So, yeah, there's a variety. There's 7 different breeds of Sasquatch. 4 different languages among those breeds. So, then throw in the whole human variant, and you have humans, just one couple has a child, and there's 7 million variances that child can appear like. Now, think about that. Something 63% human, do you think they're all going to look the same?
Right. Nugi want to know bigger than a liger. Have she seen one of those?
Yes, bigger. Yes, it's bigger.
Wow. And a liger is
Much
big.
bigger. I know.
A liger is massive.
And that one that I told you and your wife that was here last year and here this year, the only one that had just this really ominous look, when you get a picture of it, it's just ominous looking. Has it done anything mean? No, it hasn't. But do I trust it? Well, all I can trust is its predecessors were peaceful. One, it just looks so ominous, I would have a real problem getting anywhere close to it or wanting to get closer to it.
Wow.
For any reason. I mean, it really is scary looking.
Wow.
Just imagine a Black Panther on an 8-foot tall human body, and its head is in front of you, like 3 feet wide. I mean, the thing is a monster. It's massive.
Right. Wow.
So, can you imagine how big those claws might be? I don't want to find out. I don't want to go out there and play with them, no.
Okay. Got another question. Guests want to know, do you think Dougmen are interested in your blood type?
It's interesting. I know there's a lot of aliens that are interested into certain blood types. I don't know if they are or not. They have not. If they're interested in my blood type, I ask this. Then what would be their motive? Have they bit me? No. Have they threatened to do anything harmful to me? No. Are they being friendly with me? Well, I'm here, but I'm not out there trying to talk with them or interact with them either.
Right.
I don't want to open that doorway up once again. I don't want the negativities of anything that's linked to alien around me. And that has been linked to alien. And last year is the year I started getting pictures of the giants, Marvin, and I showed you some pictures of giants. Now, last year was when those giant dogmen appeared at 2, and they all seemed to stay towards the south where it's really wooded, which is only like 2 miles from my house. And we would literally be sitting there watching TV, and it was like you could just mute the TV, and it sounded like Jurassic Park going on. I mean, your water bottle, the water was jiggling in it, and I was like, ooh, that's big. And, we're literally feeling the floor move, and we have a basement underneath us, so we're on a really heavy-duty foundation, and floor vibrate is one of these things must be around at night. And I would say to Dave, I'd say, listen, here's the question. Is that a giant? Or is that one of those giant dogmen? And are these giants going to eat people? Or they eat Sasquatch? What do they eat? I don't know. I did see a young one, grab a tree and literally ride the tree down to his butt, and he's sitting there munching on the top of the tree. My mom and I seen that together, and it was mind-blowing. Then it was later in the season that these giant dogmen appeared that would go over the top of the trees when they knew that the Sasquatch was on one side, and they would come from the other and just like lean over the top and grab them and just like be plucking them off. And that's when I had taken that picture and I showed you, Marvin, and I told you that was the end. I said, I can't stomach this no more. It was just like the summer of carnage, and I quit.
Right.
And then shortly after that, our house got hit by a tornado, and it took out a lot of trees, and it really pushed the wild back away from our house a little bit. And I can't say that I don't mind.
Somebody want to know, are dogmen or werewolves bigger than a moose?
They vary in size and the different species, the different types. I showed you a relatively small dogman that is something natural to the upper north. It's something natural out there that I wouldn't mess with it. Just because it's smaller, it still looks like it's pretty vicious.
Right.
I mean, you guys, some people walk in the pet store and they see a Labrador and they go, oh, that's a big dog. And I'm like, that's a medium-sized dog to me. I'm used to Great Danes and Russian Wolfhounds and stuff like that. So that dog used to seem big to me. Now that dog seems very small in comparison to what's out there.
Wow.
So think about a dog that's got its chest at 48 inches, its shoulder blades are even with your countertops. And then you walk outside and you see something that looks like it would take that and walk off with it like it's just a puppy or a kitten. It's unbelievable. When you see it with your eyes and not have hearsay, it's just an incredible thing.
Somebody want to know, have you ever had dreams related to these dogmen?
Yes. For a while I was harassed by one, yeah. And I was glad when it was gone.
Right. Wow.
That's why I'm really adamant about not opening my door to that and not wanting to befriend it. Just let me take in its behavior, let me take photographs of it, log it, share it with the world, and if somebody else wants to go out there opening their brain up to it, they can do that. I'm not about that.
Okay, Shell. Somebody want to know where they can go at to see the some of those pics.
You can go to Instagram, Whisper Walkers, and all the pics are right there. There's like one of every species there. Thousands and thousands of photographs, but I don't share everything, and I definitely don't share the photographs, really graphic stuff. I shared that with Marvin because Marvin had the hard questions. I have to say, of all the people that have been podcasters or interviewers or even asked me questions, you really have had the most interesting questions, Marvin. That's why I agreed to go on your show. I knew that you would ask things and let's get some stuff out there that's factual and not assumption, not rumor.
Right.
That's why I chose to do the show when I came on with you, because I usually avoid just
I know you explained it to me in the text, so I'm like, I'ma just ask it anyway, and that's how I am though. I want to know everything like
well, your
about these
questions
creatures.
inspired me. Your questions inspired me to step out of my comfort zone and do this for you, because I thought that you are asking the questions that should be answered.
Thank you so much. Somebody want to know, did the
You're
Doug
welcome.
man ever talk to you in your head? Telepathic.
Yeah, I've had a few of them, and most of the time it was negative, and I got myself away from the situation as fast as I could. Then there was a few of them that just gave their warning, like the one I told you, spoke to David telepathically. He said, "You will not take my print." He was really adamant, and it was, serious.
Yeah.
And that was a huge print. I'd gave anything to have that thing casted too.
Right.
Like I said, I drove all the way to a Hobby Lobby. It took me like an hour and a half, and I get home and it's wiped out. And I was like, no. And then that night when he told David, "You will not take my print," I was like, okay. You take those kind of threats and you obey them.
Right.
Just put it that way. They are so intimidating that you go, okay, sorry,
Right. And you have showed me prints of aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've casted alien prints.
Yes, you did.
I have photos of aliens. I have photos of the UFOs on the ground behind my house. Comparison photos. I showed you video. I mean, there's no disputing it. When I do something, I will usually have a comparison somewhere to back up what I've given it.
Yeah, because you can, and you took that I think you took it in what it was that night vision, the aliens that was in your backyard, and you circled them. It's probably about 4 or 5.
That wasn't night vision. That was actually full color. That was full color. That was not night vision.
Oh, okay.
That was full color.
Okay, yeah, because
I told you I took one picture with the flash on and one picture with the flash off. And then when I took the picture with the flash on, I was like, uh-oh, gotta go.
Right.
It was time to roll.
Yeah, because you got all type of the crabs, and it's hovering over you. It's a hot spot there.
It is a hot spot here. Even MUFON has investigated extensively in this area and deemed it a major hot spot. They went through my photographs of aliens and UFOs and stuff to make sure there was no layering in it, and everything was up to par because I did shows for them, and they wanted to make sure the material getting presented was, in fact, what it was. And yeah, they found no layering or anything, and aliens, weird stuff, paranormal. It is the normal. I think that people are waking up to it more and more as more and more encounters happen, because I think there's a few reasons for that. We're encroaching on these wild areas. You know, everybody's building a bigger, better home, build a bigger, better, you know, and they just keep going out from the cities until you're into these rural areas where all of these things tend to, you know, lay low. They're not laying low anymore. If you're in this area and it's in your area, and you're bound to, you know, start having all these encounters start stacking up. And I think that they're also multiplying besides that fact. And then the other side of this whole scenario is we didn't touch on is the interdimensional qualities that all these beings seem to share, and are they coming and going from someplace else? Yeah, that is happening, and the veils, they keep saying, are thinning or getting, you know, what I'll tell you what the cryptids say. The cryptids say that the walls are bleeding. That's their terms. I don't know what we want to call them. I mean,
right.
Rips. Because sometimes in your pictures, all of a sudden there'll be like a bunch of them cluttered together, like they're all looking through a window or a hole. And sometimes it looks like one being's layered on top of another. And, you know, I push those pictures to the side, because to release them, you're just going to look like you got pareidolia or something, because it's like every time you look at it, you can see something else. And it's like, I'm not going to get caught up in that. But at the same time, I've got to look at it as evidence that there was definitely something going on that caused pixelation in the photo. When I'm shooting with the 24 megapixel Sony, there's no pixelation in my photo. You know, I'm using lenses and stuff where I'm right up to it. I don't need to swell that photo up. So when I look at something and I see squares and lines and all these faces and things, I have to wonder about those statements about our walls are bleeding.
Wow.
More questions.
Got another.
The longer we talk, the more questions will come, right?
Yeah, quite another question. He want, in your opinion, Noogie want to know, where do you think Doug men come from? In your personal opinion.
Again, I'm going to say this again. There are various species, and they have various sources. Some are here, have always been here. Others that were created, and yet others, I think the government and aliens are, I know that's what's going on. So you have things that are being created. You have things that happen naturally. Things that we may not even know yet or don't even understand happening. You have the whole mystery behind, you know, skinwalkers. Is that really a person? Have we seen them transform? Is there any video out there of that? No.
Right.
So, you know, that question is so broad. There's no way to say, oh, all dogmen came from God. He created them. Oh, all dogmen came from an alien. He created them. No, we can't say that about all these different things, because the storyline for that individual character doesn't match up to the other ones. There is a huge variance in its appearance, size, looks, shape. You know, all these things are all over the chart. So I know that Vic Nundas, who put out this type 1, type 2, type this, type that. You know, I don't work like that.
Me neither.
I go by what I see in front of me, what I've got logged, and I label it by what it looks like. Okay, we have a dog man here. It's, you know, this is a bare-headed one. Okay, we have a dog man here. It's, oh, that one's clearly, you know, hyena or, you know, whatever, husky. You know, there's various different types. The mastiffs. Look at those mastiffs I showed you.
Right.
How, you know, they were pretty impressive, weren't they? I mean, see something like that, it's just Yeah, it was just really impressive, and they were so noble. I never had a problem from that group of them. I don't even know if it was a dog man. I don't know. I know that it was canine. I know that it was a canine being, but all the creatures look black and look like a wolf. Are these one of the part of the black wolf creatures? I mean, they were so mellow when they were around, and they were, maybe they belong under that category. Maybe they belong under the umbrella of, okay, wolf creatures can be various different species too. What about that? Nobody's asking that. So you can't. There's just no way to start labeling. I hate labels for one, but in this instance, we really need them. We really need labels, and the only way that we can continue on is just by people drop your fear a little bit and invest in good camera equipment, and you can definitely get good pictures. But it's got to be how much is worth you spending, how much is important to you or your followers, or that's all I can say is
Right.
Somebody else, start picking up the torch here. So a lot of people want to call themselves researchers, but I don't see much research going on. I mean, all they want to do is, go out there and try to decipher, okay, Sasquatch did this tree bend or what, Did somebody see the Sasquatch make it?
Right.
Some of it gets to be silly. It just gets to be redundant. Let's get some real stuff out there. Let's get some, somebody match that picture, please. Somebody else, take a photo of a maskless being, please. I love it. Or how about a cat photo? Show me one of them. I haven't seen anybody else's work out there. So I'm telling somebody's got to have a deep pocket somewhere that can afford a decent camera and learn how to use it. There's definitely classes you can take online, and get out there and take some pictures that are actually viewable.
Right. Because it ain't easy to get these things on camera.
No, and if you've got the opportunity and you don't embark on it, that's an opportunity lost to have a lot of knowledge or combine knowledge. And people need to get along. There is so much negativity in this whole Bigfoot community, and now it's in the Dogman community too. I've had like 4 or 5 different people shooting messages of this one person doing a podcast that just wants to bash everybody. And it's like, why? We need combined information. We need combined effort. Just going up against each other and it's like a whole competitive way is not doing anybody any favors. Why the attack on and the judgment on humans when the topic at hand is something that we hardly know anything about? But what do we know of humans? Yeah, they can lie, they can make up stories, they can, talk bad about people, they can call this color or that color when somebody else calls it this one that, and they fight about it. It's just so silly. That's why I just ducked out of it.
Right.
I don't have time for it. If you guys want to look at what I've been producing, well, then you'll see somebody that kept their nose to the grindstone and wasn't out there causing all kinds of trouble and stirring up all kinds of arguments.
Right. And I was talking to a guy. Well, he's gonna come on the show tomorrow, but he was telling me, he said he been doing this for so long, you know what I mean? But yet people that ain't even been out in the field and ain't even seen a squirrel is an expert on these cryptids. Oh, this is what it lives here, and it had this amount of babies, and it never stays. I'm like, man, come on, experts.
That's one thing. That's one thing that irritates me too. You get these people that they can communicate with Sasquatch. We didn't do a show on Sasquatch, but I'm telling you what, I could talk for days on Sasquatch because that was my field of interest. That was where I definitely used my gift to, telepathically communicate to not just one or 2 of them, but go all around this whole country and talk with different Sasquatch and ask the same questions and see if they had the same answers.
Right. I just don't like that. That's why when I was on this show, you know, quite a few people agreed with me. They was like, "Well, I guess Marvin came up with the best answer. We don't have enough data on this cryptid." I don't know nobody that went into their environment
There's
and
not
actually
enough
studied them.
data on any of them.
And actually studied them. I don't know nobody, but yet you're an expert.
I would like to see. I would like to see a lot more people. Like I surrounded myself with people that are, well versed in the wilderness and wild animals, and you hear a call at night, and their first answer is not, "That's Bigfoot." No. They'll learn the sounds, know the sounds, and they've had some study under them. My thing was science when I was in college. Took every microbiology and science biology that you could take, and then I got into humans and went for that. So a heavy background in science and understanding just our 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 way of being, our human way of being, and then have some other knowledge out there and approach all of this stuff with that same thing, and if you've got an idea, at that point it's a theory. Right. And so what are you going to do to prove your theory? You got to come up with a hypothesis. You got to come up with a thesis and everything, all before you can come at anybody with conclusions.
Right.
And that's why I said one of the most important things here is not to assume. And all across the board, when you talk cryptids, people want to assume. And that's just not a scientific way of approaching anything.
Right. And that's what I always stuck to. When somebody asks me something, if I don't know, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit there and say, well, this is that. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's why I don't listen to a lot of podcasts out there because
when I don't know,
I don't know.
I just say I don't know.
Yeah, that's the best way. I don't know. But yet all these people out here that's doing this is so expert, and yeah, these is the melon. It's crazy though, to be honest. It's just crazy. And I think we did a five. That was a 5 hour. That was a 5 hour show. But yet, people even on the panel was like, okay, I think that they all snatching these people. How can you say that? You don't even have no proof.
It's all new. There's no proof. Yeah.
It's no proof that these cryptids are snatching these missing people. You don't have no proof. That's like blaming somebody that they took something. Right. That's why I was like, man, I was just happy when the show was over because they knew everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets a little monotonous.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I don't know about you, but we're moving up on 2.5 hours here.
Yeah, Dion. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But is it okay if I post a few pictures in my group? I'm gonna ask you first.
Let's talk and we'll see what you're wanting and stuff, and I want to make sure that they're definitely covered with my name and stuff.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I'm gonna let you go and
Thank you much. You have a great evening.
All right, you too, Shell.
Okay, bye everybody. Thanks for listening and all your questions. They were awesome.
All right, thank you and bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, Al. I'm gonna stay away from it. Trust me, I am. I'm gonna stay away from it. You don't even have to worry about it. You don't even have to ask me that. I'm gonna definitely stay away from it. I'm gonna definitely stay away from it. You don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna definitely stay away from that. The government is. Yeah, but it's just Who feeds off attention? Thanks, Diana. Yeah, I just, like I said, though, I went on there, man, and if I didn't know something, I didn't know it, and I told them that. Some answers I came up with, they was like, well, Mama came up with the best answer so far, because we don't have enough data on these creatures. Everybody an expert, but ain't nobody been out in their environment, in their backyard, to study them. Nobody. But yet you know all this. Well, I'm telling you, they live here, they live there. Man, you don't even know where they live at. People always do that. Can say they live underground. We can say they live in mountains and cave. Until you get evidence, that's when it sticks solid. Thank you. And we going live again tomorrow. I got another guest on there. I think he from Texas, but he moved to I think he in Arkansas now. So he coming he definitely he gonna bring it tomorrow too. Thank you Layla. Yeah, they were some good questions. Thank you so much. I'm getting ready to start pushing them out there again. I'm gonna definitely start pushing them out there again. But that's something I love to do. That's something I love to do. I love telling encounters. I got one I'm getting ready I got one I'm getting ready to tell because the lady want me to tell it, so she don't want to come on and tell it. So I'm gonna come on and I'm gonna do that. I should go out from the Doug man again. Oh man. I was gonna walk out there tonight, but I was like, man, it's a little too dark, and I don't like going through that path like that, cause I ain't. I be thinking something might. I be thinking it might be something out there, so I'm not going out there. Oh, okay, y'all. Put up the ones. It's 27 in the chat. Put up the ones. Put up the ones. Put up the ones. This what we do. This what we sign up for. Put up the ones. Put up the ones, y'all. Come on. Hey, Layla. Okay, dude. Ghost. Yeah, Diana. Scarborough. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Okay. I got y'all. I got y'all family. Man, I love my family, man. Okay, let me see. Let me see which one. Trying to I got some in oh I got some in Virginia. Some in Virginia. Trying to think of what state I'm gonna go to, because like I said, I got enough of them, and I've been collecting them over time, and that's why I held on to them, man. So, because I never wanted to not run out and not be able to put no content out and tell a encounter. So that's what I did. All right, this encounter it come out of where this lady said she lived at. I can't remember, because I don't want to get I definitely don't want to get the place wrong when I tell it. You know what I mean? So um But as y'all know, anonymity that mean a lot to me. But some people that do come on the show, they will let you know their name. But if I tell them, then I don't use their name or sometime their location, because they asked me not to. And out of respect, I'm gonna do that because they took time out to tell me their encounter. All right. Oh my God. All right. Okay. This encounter right here. This came out of Matter of fact, I'm gonna go down to Texas because got a young lady encounter down there. Come out of Cause this encounter right here come out of Texas and name. I'm gonna just call her. Yeah. I'm gonna just call her T. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. Don't go nowhere. Hold on 1 minute. Let me use the bathroom, please. I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. I apologize. I truly apologize, but I'm back. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Wait a minute. All right. Okay. This encounter, Young Ray shared with y'all, it came out of Texas. And the eyewitness was on her way to work. Now mind you, she said the way that she was driving down, it was four lanes, she said. So she driving down, which would put her on the right side. And she said she wasn't driving fast. She said, but as she was driving, she noticed something on her side of the road. Now, she said it was dark out, but it was lights and you could see stuff. So she say she driving. She sees something on her side of the road. Because she said it was like, bushes and, twig, shrubs and stuff like that when she was driving down. So she say she sees something pop out the pop out the bush, and this thing start running cross this four lane. Now she said when she watched it run across these four lanes, she said the way it ran with its arms hanging down in front of it. But she said it moved so fast. Now she said when it gets on the other side, she said it was a fence right there. And she said this thing turned around and looked over in her direction because she said it wasn't a lot of cars on the road. She said this thing turned around and looked over in her direction, then turned back and jumped this fence and went on the other side. Now, mind you, it was a truck coming up that this thing cut in front of because the guy in the truck had stopped. He stopped and he got out because he was messed up in the head. She said he wanted to find out what did he just see run across the road in front of his truck. Now, and I asked her, how tall she think this thing was. She said she think it was a juvenile because it had to be about, she said like probably like 5.5 feet, no more than 6 feet tall. She said it was all black. It had long arms. She said because at first she thought it was a Sasquatch until she looked at it and seen the snout and the canine ears. She said once that thing jumped the fence, it just took off. She said this thing just took off and ran. Now I'm gonna tell y'all another encounter. And this one right here, cause her sight wasn't that long. This one right here, this one this one come out of Virginia, and the lady when I was talking to her, she said that she was having trouble with these Doug man creatures. She said, but it was one that used to scare her so bad. Now she said the one creature that used to scare her so bad, it had a mark, scratch, like a scratch on his nose. But she said one day, she would go out. She said, she had a little bit of land, and she used to go out and sit, and she used to walk her little dog. Now, she said one day when she was walking her dog, she noticed that, the dog would stop. And she would, pull a rope. Come on, come on, come on, come on. She said, but the dog wouldn't move. And it would start, whimpering. She said, so she kept pulling on a rope, but the dog would not move. It just kept whimpering and looking. So she looked. She heard, like a twig on the ground. She heard that crack. She heard that sound. So she looks. She said when she look, she sees something by a bush, but she don't know what it is at this time. She look and she sees something by a bush. She said it was dark, but she still don't know what it is. So she turned around and started, to walk back home. She said as she was walking, she can hear heavy steps walking behind her. So she would stop. It would stop. She would start up again. Stop. It would stop. So she said she got the nerve up in the guts to turn around and look behind her. She said when she turned around and looked behind her, she didn't see nothing. So she said right when she was getting ready to turn back around again, she caught something peeking around a tree. And she said what she saw had a dog type head that was peeking at her from behind the tree. So she turns around and she hurry up and she get back to her house. She goes in the house. She say, but as days would go on, she would come in contact with this creature. Now she say she was out back one day, you know, messing around in her garden, and she heard this noise. And I asked her what kind of noise did you hear. She said I don't know, but it just didn't sound right. So she said she out there and she looking. She said that's when she sees something peek up over this bush, and she like what the. She don't know what it is though. She said it peeks up over the bush and pops back down. So she walks back to a little back porch. She stand up there, and she said to do it again. She said this time it looks right at her, and when it looks at her, it walks from behind the bush. Oh, now mind you, this thing is on all fours now. And it walks from behind the bush. It walks, and then she said it stopped. And when it stopped, she said that's when this thing made a low growl. And when it did that, she said this thing stood up. She said when this thing stood up, she went in the house, locked all her doors and windows and everything. She said a couple days later, when she was in the bed, she noticed, or well, something woke her up. You know what I mean? Because she heard something outside. So she said she sat up in her bed. She said she sat up in the bed and she could hear what she said was footsteps walking around her home. So she slides out the bed, she put her slippers on, and she walks up in the front room. She said when she walks up in the front room, something catches her attention over at the window. And when she look over at the window, and she got curtains though, but if she look over at the window, she see a silhouette of a dark figure, tall, and she could hear this thing breathing, breathing loud. So she turns around, she goes back in her room. She goes back in the room and she gets on the phone. She say she calls a relative and say, she said she was telling them, can you come over here because there's something outside my house. So she said, relative came over there. The relative came over there, come in, and he said, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong? She said, it's something was outside my window. So he goes out there and he looks. He don't see nothing. So he stays the night there. Next day, he leaves. She outside again. She say this time, when she outside, this thing comes walking down this path. Now, mind you, now this is when she said she's saying that this thing had a scar across its nose. Because she said that's what really scared her. Because she would see this thing all the time. She said this thing walks down. She goes and she stands on her back porch again. She say this thing walks down. She goes in the house. But she looks out the window. When she looks out the window, this thing walk all the way up to her back porch. Now she can see that this thing got a scar across his nose, like it got into a fight. And she say this thing used to torture her every day. And I used to talk to her on the phone. And when she used to tell me this, I don't know. I sometimes I be wanting to help people, but I know you can't help everybody. You don't want to go to someone home and start shooting and doing all this because they still gonna live with that. They gotta stay there. A person don't. They gonna just leave and go back home, not knowing all they gonna do is stir some stuff up. And she asked me, well, what can I do? How can I get rid of these things? I'm like I said, if I don't know nothing, I don't know nothing. I said, I really don't know. Only thing I know is that I know they travel. I said, I know they travel. You know what I mean? Over time, they travel. So maybe, maybe you know, maybe it'll do that. I said maybe it'll do that, but she was just, she was just scared, man. And I had another, I had another eyewitness. I had another eyewitness that lived on the eastern shore. That she literally begged me and my team to come down there and help her with her problem. She said the first time that she saw any of these things, it was a hyena type that she seen on her property. Now she sent me pictures. She sent me pictures of Dugman, aliens, and Bigfoot. Now I tells my team talked to her and they was on the phone with her. She say these things are looking at me through the window, and they decided not to go because they thought she was unstable or something like that. So I told her if I get the chance and I get some people to come down there with me, I will come because me myself, I don't think nobody should go through that when it come to these creatures. I don't think nobody should have to suffer, or for one, I don't think they should be shot or killed or nothing like that. Because people claim, oh, my uncle killed the Doug man back in such and such. Well, I ain't seen a body yet. Period. I ain't seen a body yet. Produce a body and then we could talk. But no one has produced a body yet. So just because you say your uncle killed one, I don't know because I didn't see it. Or they don't have no proof of nothing. So and I still talk to this lady to this day, and she say she's still having trouble out of them. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what do you do in a case like that? Do you move, or do you just live with it? You know, do you move or you just live with it? So she's still saying them to this day. Death grip on the shaman. Yeah, but pulls you out somewhere and you catch it flat and you ain't got no spare. And all of a sudden you see four of these things. Hey Lee, when can you come on? That's what I wanted to ask you. When can you come on, Lee? When can you come on the show, Lee? Yeah, but like I said, everybody, I'm glad everybody who showed up and tuned in. You know, we going live again tomorrow. I got another eyewitness who gonna be talking about his encounters with Bigfoot and Doug, man. So tune in tomorrow, 8 Eastern, my time. So I'm gonna say goodnight to everyone, and I'll see y'all on the next True Encounters.